Commander Lee Tae-min stood on the deck of the research ship Ocean Pioneer and looked out at the endless Pacific waters. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and red. He had been waiting for this day for 3 years. Today, his team would go deeper into the ocean than any human had ever gone before. The year was 2387, and Earth was in trouble. 3 months ago, aliens had contacted the planet. They called themselves the Galactic Council. Their message was simple and scary. Join us as slaves, or we will destroy you. Humans had 30 days to decide. The aliens thought humans were weak and stupid. They had seen Earth's small space stations and simple rockets. They believed humans could barely leave their own planet. They were wrong, but they did not know that yet. "Commander, we are ready to go down," said Dr. Park So-young. She was the team's scientist, an expert on ocean life and old things found underwater. Her dark hair was tied back and her eyes showed excitement mixed with worry. "How deep are we going today?" asked Captain Kim Dong-woo. He was the best submarine pilot in the Earth Defense Force. His hands were steady and his mind was sharp. Nothing scared him in the deep waters. 20 kilometers, Lee Tae-min replied. "Deeper than anyone has ever gone." The submarine Deep Explorer was not like the old submarines. It was made of new metals that could handle the crushing weight of deep water. Its lights could cut through the darkest depths. Its sensors could find things that no one else could see. Dr. Park So-young checked her equipment one more time. "The pressure down there will be incredible," she said. "If anything goes wrong." "Nothing will go wrong," said Captain Kim Dong-woo with a confident smile. "I have taken this sub down 15 kilometers before. 5 more will not be a problem." They climbed into the submarine. Admiral Choi Mi-ran watched from the main ship. She was in charge of Earth's Defense Force, a tough woman with gray hair and hard eyes. She had fought in the colony wars 20 years ago. Now she faced a threat bigger than anything Earth had ever seen. "Good luck down there," Admiral Choi Mi-ran said over the radio. "Find us something we can use against these aliens." The submarine began to sink. First, they passed through the sunny waters near the surface. Fish swam around them in bright colors. Then they went deeper where the water turned dark blue, then black. The pressure outside grew stronger and stronger. 5 kilometers down, reported Captain Kim Dong-woo. "Everything looks normal." They kept going down. At 10 kilometers, they saw strange deep-sea creatures with glowing bodies. At 15 kilometers, even these creatures disappeared. The ocean became empty and dark. 20 kilometers, Captain Kim Dong-woo announced. "We are now deeper than any human has ever been." Dr. Park So-young watched her sensors carefully. "I am getting some strange readings," she said. "There is something big down here." "What kind of big?" asked Lee Tae-min. "Very big. And it is made of metal." They all looked at each other. There should be nothing made of metal this deep in the ocean. No human had ever built anything here. The pressure would crush any normal building like a tin can. "Take us toward it," ordered Lee Tae-min. Captain Kim Dong-woo turned the submarine. Their lights cut through the dark water. At first they saw nothing. Then slowly shapes began to appear in the distance. Dr. Park So-young gasped. "Commander, you need to see this." Through the submarine's window they could see a wall. It was smooth and silver, stretching as far as their lights could reach. The wall seemed to go up and down forever. It was definitely made by someone, but it was bigger than any building on Earth. "What is that metal?" asked Lee Tae-min Dr. Park. So-young checked her scanner. "I do not know. It is not like anything in our databases. The computer cannot identify it." They followed the wall for an hour. It never ended. Sometimes they saw other walls connecting to it, making huge rooms or passages. The structure was enormous, like an underwater city built for giants. "How old is this?" asked Captain Kim Dong-woo. "The metal shows no rust or damage," said Dr. Park So-young. "But the sea life growing on it suggests it has been here for thousands of years. Maybe much longer." As they explored, Lee Tae-min felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold water outside. Someone had built this long before humans learned to make metal tools. But who? And why was it hidden so deep under the ocean? "Commander," said Dr. Park So-young suddenly, "I'm reading energy signatures. This thing is not dead. It is still working." "That is impossible," said Captain Kim Dong-woo. "Nothing could work down here for thousands of years." But as they watched, lights began to appear on the metal walls. Soft blue glows started moving in patterns like the structure was waking up from a long sleep. "It knows we are here," whispered Dr. Park So-young. The lights grew brighter. They formed lines and circles that seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. The submarine's radio started making strange sounds like someone was trying to talk to them in a language they did not understand. "We need to get back to the surface," said Captain Kim Dong-woo.
"Now." But as he started to turn the submarine around, the structure began to move.
Not the whole thing, but parts of it. Sections of the wall slid away, revealing openings big enough for their submarine to enter. Lee Tae-min made a decision that would change everything. "Wait," he said. "It is not trying to hurt us. It is trying to communicate." The lights on the structure pulsed faster. The radio sounds became clearer, almost like music. And deep in the darkness of the ocean, something that had been sleeping for 50,000 years began to wake up. Above them, on the surface, Admiral Choi Mi-ran waited for their report. She did not know that her submarine crew had just discovered something that would turn the galaxy upside down. She did not know that humans were not the young, weak species that everyone thought they were. The aliens of the Galactic Council had made a terrible mistake. They thought Earth was defenseless. They thought humans were primitive. But deep under the ocean, in the crushing darkness where no one had ever looked, lay the proof that they were wrong about everything. The command center was filled with activity as humans from two different times worked together. Surface humans sat next to ancient humans, learning to use technology that seemed like magic. Lee Tae-min watched as Captain Kim Dong-woo practiced piloting a small fighter ship in a training simulator. "The controls are responding to my thoughts," said Captain Kim Dong-woo in amazement. "I think about turning left, and the ship turns left." "That is how our ships work," explained Admiral Song Kyung-ho. "They bond with their pilots. The ship becomes part of you, and you become part of the ship." Across the room, Dr. Park So-young was studying star charts with historian Lim Soo-jin. The maps showed the current positions of the Galactic Council fleets. "They are moving faster than we expected," said Dr. Park So-young. "The main fleet will reach Earth in 12 days. "Let them come," said a new voice. Everyone turned to see a figure in golden armor walking into the command center. He was tall and moved with absolute confidence. Even Admiral Song Kyung-ho bowed slightly when he approached. "This is Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo," said Admiral Song Kyung-ho. "He is the supreme commander of all human forces." Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo studied the star charts for a moment. 12 days, he said calmly. "That is enough time. How many ships are ready to launch?" 800,000 ships are fully operational, reported Yoon Jae-sung. "The remaining 400,000 will be ready within 10 days. "And crews?" 7 million people have awakened from stasis," said Dr. Shin Hae-won. "They are all eager to fight. Plus, we have 50,000 surface humans who have volunteered to join us." Lee Tae-min stepped forward. "Admiral, what about the people on the surface? They need to know what is happening." Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo nodded. "Captain Oh-se-ram has been working on that problem." A young woman in pilot gear approached. Captain Oh-se-ram had been one of the first surface humans to successfully pilot an ancient ship. Her eyes sparkled with excitement. "I took one of our dreadnoughts to the surface last night," she said. "Just for a few minutes so the satellites could see it. The surface governments are very interested in talking to us now." "What did they say?" asked Dr. Park So-young. "They want to know where we got a ship the size of Manhattan," said Captain Oh-se-ram with a grin. "Admiral Choi Mi-ran is waiting for a full briefing." Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo turned to Lee Tae-min. "Commander, I want you to return to the surface and explain the situation to your leaders. Tell them that humanity's true fleet is ready to defend Earth." "What should I tell them about the aliens?" "Tell them the truth," said Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo, "that 50,000 years ago, these same aliens stole our empire and tried to destroy us. Tell them that we never forgot, and we never forgave." Dr. Bae Min-ho was working at a control station nearby. "Admiral, we are receiving communications from the stolen colonies. Word is spreading that the deep humans have awakened." "What kind of communications?" asked historian Lim Soo-jin. "Coded messages from human slaves on the alien worlds," said Dr. Bae Min-ho. "They remember the old stories too. They are ready to rise up when we give the signal." Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo smiled grimly. "Good. It is time to remind the galaxy that humans do not stay conquered." Ambassador Kang Ye-jin entered the command center carrying a communication device. She had been working on diplomatic contacts with the approaching alien fleet. "I sent our message to the Galactic Council," she said. "I told them exactly who we are and what we know about their history." "How did they respond?" asked Lee Tae-min. "They accelerated their attack schedule," said Ambassador Kang Ye-jin. "They will arrive in 8 days, not 12. And they are bringing more ships than we expected." "How many more?" asked Admiral Song Kyung-ho. 200,000 ships instead of 100,000, said Ambassador Kang Ye-jin. "They are taking this very seriously." Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo laughed. 200,000 ships. They really do not understand what they are facing. "Sir," said Captain Oh Se-ram, "should we show them one of our battle fleets? Let them see what they are up against?" "No," said Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo. "Let them think they have the advantage. The surprise will be much more effective." Yoon Jae-sung brought up a display showing the ocean floor around Earth. Lights marked the positions of human fleets hidden beneath the waves. "All fleets are in position," he reported. "The Pacific Fleet is ready to emerge near Hawaii. The Atlantic Fleet is positioned off the coast of Portugal. The Arctic Fleet is waiting under the polar ice." "And the weapon systems?" asked Admiral Song Kyung-ho. "Fully charged," said Dr. Bae Min-ho. "Our quantum torpedoes can punch through any known shielding. Our particle beams can slice through ship hulls like they were paper." Lee Tae-min looked at the display showing the vast fleets hidden under Earth's oceans. It was still hard to believe that all of this had been waiting down there for so long. "What about after the battle?" he asked. "What happens when we win?" Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo's expression grew serious. "When we win, we will reclaim every world that was stolen from us. We will free every human who was enslaved. We will rebuild the empire that should never have fallen. But first," added historian Lim Soo-jin, "we must show the galaxy that humanity is not dead. We must remind them who the real masters of space are." Captain Kim Dong-woo finished his training simulation and joined the group. "Admiral, when do we launch?" "When the alien fleet reaches Earth's orbital space," said Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo. "We will let them get close, let them think they are about to win. Then we will rise from the depths and show them the true power of humanity." "The entire galaxy will be watching," said Ambassador Kang Ye-jin. "This battle will be broadcast across 1,000 worlds." "Good," said Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo. "Let them all see what happens when you threaten humanity's home. Let them remember this day for the next 50,000 years." Dr. Park So-young was studying the tactical displays. "Admiral, what about civilian casualties? There are 8 billion people on the surface. Our shields will protect them," said Yoon Jae-sung. "The moment our ships emerge, they will extend protective fields over every city on Earth." "And the alien ships?" asked Captain Oh Se-ram. Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo's eyes grew cold. "The alien ships will learn what their ancestors learned 50,000 years ago, that when you attack humanity, you face the consequences." The command center fell silent as everyone prepared for what was coming. In 8 days, the galaxy would see something it had not seen for 50,000 years. Earth's hidden fleet would rise from the depths and humanity would reclaim its place among the stars. "Prepare all fleets for immediate launch when I give the signal," ordered Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo. "And send a message to every human on every stolen world. Tell them that the deep ones have awakened and the time of freedom has come." The submarine Deep Explorer floated in front of the glowing opening. The metal structure pulsed with blue lights that seemed to beckon them forward. Captain Kim Dong-woo's hands gripped the controls tightly. "Commander, this could be a trap," he said. Lee Tae-min studied the patterns of light. They reminded him of something, but he could not figure out what. "Dr. Park, are you getting any dangerous readings?" Dr. Park So-young checked her instruments. "No radiation. No toxic gases. The opening seems to be filled with breathable air, not water." "Air. 20 kilometers underwater?" Captain Kim Dong-woo shook his head. "That should be impossible, but the sensors did not lie. Somehow the opening in the structure contained normal air at normal pressure." Lee Tae-min made his choice. "Take us in, slowly." The submarine moved through the opening. The walls around them glowed softly, lighting their way. They entered a vast chamber filled with air. The submarine surfaced in a pool of water in the center of the room. "Look at the size of this place," whispered Dr. Park So-young. The chamber was enormous. The ceiling was so high that their lights could barely reach it. Along the walls, they could see doorways and passages leading deeper into the structure. Everything was made of the same silver metal, smooth and perfect. They docked the submarine at a platform that seemed designed for it. When they opened the hatch, fresh air flowed in. It smelled clean, like mountain air after rain. "How is there air down here?" asked Captain Kim Dong-woo. Before anyone could answer, footsteps echoed through the chamber. A man walked toward them from one of the passages. He looked human, but his clothes were strange. They seemed to be made of the same silver metal as the walls, but they moved like fabric. "Welcome home," the man said in perfect Korean. "I am Engineer Yoon Jae-sung. I have been waiting for you for a very long time." Lee Taemin stepped forward carefully. "Who are you? How long have you been down here?" Yoon Jae-sung smiled sadly. "I have been here for 50,000 years. We all have." "That is impossible," said Dr. Park So-young. "No human lives that long." "You are right," said Yoon Jae-sung. "No normal human lives that long. But we are not normal anymore. We changed ourselves so we could wait." He led them through the passages. The walls were covered with symbols and pictures that looked familiar but different. They reminded Lee Taemin of old Korean writing, but older and more complex. "These symbols," said Dr. Park So-young, "they look like ancient Korean script." "Because they are Korean script," said Yoon Jae-sung. "The oldest Korean script. From before the surface, people forgot who they really were." They entered a huge room filled with screens and controls. Other people worked at the stations. They all looked human, but there was something different about them. Their eyes held the weight of thousands of years. "Let me tell you the truth about humanity," said Yoon Jae-sung. 50,000 years ago, humans were not the young species living on one planet. We were the masters of the galaxy. We had colonies on 1,000,000 worlds. We built ships that could cross space faster than light. We were powerful beyond imagination." Lee Taemin felt the world spinning around him. "What happened?" "War," said a new voice. General Hanbora entered the room. She wore armor made of the same silver metal, and her face was hard as stone. "The other species were jealous of our power. They formed an alliance to destroy us." "The Galactic Council," whispered Dr. Park So-young. "Yes," said General Hanbora. "They called themselves different names then, but they are the same species. They attacked our colonies. They enslaved our people. They stole our technology and claimed it as their own." "But you survived," said Captain Kim Dong-woo. Dr. Bae Min-ho stepped forward. He was clearly a scientist with gentle eyes and careful movements. "Some of us escaped to Earth. This was our home world, the place where humanity first reached for the stars. We built these cities under the ocean where our enemies would never think to look. We went to sleep," continued Yoon Jae-sung. "We put ourselves in stasis pods and waited. We knew that someday our descendants on the surface would grow strong enough to help us take back what was stolen." Lee Taemin's mind raced. "The aliens who contacted Earth, they do not know about you." "No," said General Hanbora with a cold smile. "They think surface humans are all that is left of our species. They think you are weak and primitive. They have no idea what sleeps beneath their feet." Dr. Park So-young was studying the symbols on the walls. "These stories, the old Korean myths about dragons and underwater kingdoms, they were not myths at all. The dragons were their ships," said Dr. Bae Min-ho. "The underwater kingdoms were these cities. Your ancestors tried to preserve the truth in stories when they could not preserve it in history." "How many of you are there?" asked Captain Kim Dong-woo. "Millions," said Yoon Jae-sung, "sleeping in stasis chambers throughout these underwater cities. Warriors, scientists, engineers, teachers, all waiting for the day we could return to the surface." "And ships," added General Hanbora. "We saved our greatest warships, hidden in these depths, protected by fields that hide them from any scanner." "How many ships?" asked Lee Taemin, though he was afraid of the answer. 1,000,000, said General Hanbora. 1,000,000 ships, each more powerful than anything the Galactic Council has ever built. The room fell silent. Lee Taemin tried to understand what he was hearing. 50,000 years ago, humans had ruled the galaxy. They had been driven into hiding, but they had never given up. They had waited and planned and prepared. "The Council's ultimatum," he said slowly. "They gave us 30 days. We know," said Yoon Jae-sung. "We have been listening to their communications. We know exactly what they plan to do. What do you want from us?" asked Dr. Park So-young. General Han Bo-ra's eyes gleamed. We want you to help us wake up our people. We want you to help us prepare our ships. And when the Galactic Council comes to destroy Earth, we want you to help us remind the galaxy who the real masters are. The surface humans and the deep humans, working together, said Dr. Bae Min-ho, just as it was always meant to be. Lee Tae-min looked at his team. Captain Kim Dong-woo nodded firmly. Dr. Park So-young's eyes shone with excitement. They had come down here looking for help against the aliens. Instead, they had found an army that had been waiting 50,000 years for this moment. What do we need to do? Asked Lee Tae-min. Yoon Jae-sung smiled, and for the first time in 50,000 years it was not a sad smile. First, we wake up our people. Then we show the galaxy what happens when you threaten humanity's home. The Galactic Council fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system. 200,000 alien warships spread across space like a metal cloud of death. Their weapons were charged, their shields were up, and their commanders were confident. On the bridge of the flagship Eternal Dominion, Supreme Admiral Vextar looked at the small blue planet through the view screen. His scaled green skin rippled with satisfaction. Such a tiny world, he said to his officers. Hard to believe it took 200,000 ships to deal with these primitive humans. The reports say they discovered something underwater, said his second-in-command. Perhaps they found some old weapons. Supreme Admiral Vextar laughed, a harsh sound that echoed through the bridge. Old weapons from a species that never left their own solar system? What could they possibly have found? Deep beneath Earth's Pacific Ocean, Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo watched the alien fleet on his screens. Around him, the command center was calm and quiet. Everyone knew their jobs. Everyone was ready. All fleets report ready for emergence, said Yoon Jae-sung. Surface evacuation is complete, added Dr. Park So-young. All civilians are in protected shelters. Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo activated the communication system that connected him to every human ship in the hidden fleet. His voice was calm but filled with steel. Attention all ships. This is Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo. Today we end 50,000 years of exile. Today we reclaim our birthright. Today the galaxy remembers who humanity really is. He paused, looking out at the vast fleet of ships waiting in the dark water. All fleets, begin emergence. Show them what they forgot. The ocean above the Pacific Fleet began to glow. The water itself seemed to part as massive ships rose from the depths. First came the destroyers, sleek and deadly, then the cruisers bristling with weapons. Finally, the dreadnoughts broke the surface, each one the size of a mountain, their hulls shining like silver stars. Captain Oh Ram piloted her dreadnought Rising Sun through the emerging fleet. Around her, 1,000 other ships were breaking through the ocean's surface. The sight was magnificent and terrifying. All surface ships, this is Captain Oh Ram, she broadcast. Humanity has returned to the stars. On the alien flagship, chaos erupted on the bridge. Sensors screamed as they detected the massive energy signatures rising from Earth's oceans. Sir, shouted the sensor officer, I am reading massive ships emerging from the planet's surface. Thousands of them. Supreme Admiral Vextar stared at his screens in disbelief. That is impossible. Our intelligence said they had no significant fleet. Sir, the ships are enormous. Some of them are larger than our biggest dreadnoughts. How many ships? Demanded Supreme Admiral Vextar. The sensor officer's voice cracked. Over 1 million ships, sir, and they are still emerging. In the Atlantic Ocean, Admiral Song Kyung-ho led his fleet to the surface. The water boiled and churned as warships the size of cities broke through the waves. Their quantum drives hummed with power, and their weapons were already charging. Atlantic Fleet to Pacific Fleet, he broadcast. We are in position and ready for battle. Arctic Fleet emerging now, reported another admiral. The ice is no barrier to us. Around the world, hidden fleets burst from the depths. The Indian Ocean Fleet rose near Madagascar. The Mediterranean Fleet emerged off the coast of Greece. Everywhere, the oceans gave up their secrets as humanity's true power was revealed. Lee Tae-min stood on the bridge of the command dreadnought Deep Awakening. Through the view screen, he could see the alien fleet in the distance, their ships looking small and fragile compared to the human vessels. Fleet Admiral, he said into his communicator, all surface fleets are in position. Excellent, came the reply from Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo. Begin the broadcast. Captain Kim Dong-woo activated the galaxy-wide communication system. Every inhabited world in the galaxy would hear what happened next. Historian Lim Soo-jin's voice filled the cosmic silence. People of the galaxy, hear the truth that has been hidden from you. 50,000 years ago, humanity ruled the stars. We built the first faster-than-light ships. We explored the galaxy and founded colonies on 1,000,000 worlds. The species you call the Galactic Council were young and primitive then, continued Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo. They attacked us, stole our technology, enslaved our people, and tried to erase us from history. On alien worlds across the galaxy, beings stopped what they were doing to listen. Many of them had always known the old stories did not make sense. How could these primitive humans have built the ancient ruins found on so many worlds? But we did not die, said Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo. We hid, we waited. We remembered, and now we have returned. The battle began without warning. The alien fleet fired first, sending millions of energy beams toward the human ships. The beams struck the human shields and simply disappeared, absorbed by defensive fields that bent space itself. Captain Oh Se-ram smiled as the alien weapons washed harmlessly over her ship. Ancient human technology versus stolen human technology, she said. Not much of a contest. She fired a single quantum torpedo. It streaked across space and struck an alien battleship. The massive vessel simply vanished, torn apart at the molecular level. All ships, ordered Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo, engage the enemy. Show them what real human technology can do. The human fleet moved forward like a silver tide. Their ships danced through space with impossible grace, dodging alien fire and returning shots that destroyed entire squadrons. The quantum weapons cut through alien shields like they were not there. The particle beams sliced through hulls with surgical precision. Supreme Admiral Vextar watched in horror as his fleet was torn apart. In the first minute of battle, he lost 10,000 ships. In the second minute, he lost 20,000 more. "This is impossible," he screamed. "No one has technology this advanced." "Sir," said his communications officer, "we are receiving surrender offers from our own colonies. The human slaves are rising up. They are taking control of entire worlds. Across the galaxy, the descendants of stolen humans were remembering who they really were. On 1,000 worlds, slave revolts began as people heard the truth broadcast from Earth. Dr. Bae Min-ho monitored the galactic communications from his station. "Admiral, we are receiving messages from the freed colonies. They are asking for our help to rebuild." "Tell them help is coming," said Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo. "As soon as we finish here." The battle lasted only 3 hours. When it was over, the Galactic Council fleet was destroyed. Only a few ships escaped to carry word of humanity's return to the rest of the galaxy. Captain Kim Dong-woo piloted his ship through the debris field where the alien fleet had been. "It is over," he said quietly. "No," said Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo over the communication system. "It is just beginning. We have a galaxy to reclaim and people to free." Lee Taemin looked out at the human fleet, now spread across Earth's orbital space. 1,000,000 ships, each one a masterpiece of technology, each one crewed by people who had waited 50,000 years for this moment. "What happens now?" asked Dr. Park So-young. "Now we go home," said historian Lim Soo-jin, "to all the worlds that were stolen from us. We rebuild what was destroyed. We free who was enslaved. We make the galaxy remember that humanity never truly fell." Fleet Admiral Park Jin-woo's voice filled the command center one last time. "Attention all ships. Set course for the Centauri colonies. It is time to bring our people home." The human fleet turned away from Earth and accelerated toward the stars. Behind them, the blue planet that had hidden them for so long began to heal. Ahead of them lay a galaxy full of stolen worlds and enslaved people, all waiting to be free. The age of hiding was over. The age of return had begun. And across 1,000,000 worlds, people looked up at the stars and whispered the ancient words, "Humanity has come home." Lee Taemin stood in the vast awakening chamber and watched as hundreds of stasis pods opened for the first time in 50,000 years. White mist poured out as the ancient humans slowly sat up, blinking in the soft light. "How many people are waking up?" he asked Yoon Jae-sung. 10,000 today," replied the engineer. "But there are millions more in chambers throughout the ocean floor. We are starting with the most important ones first." Dr. Park So-young was busy taking notes as she watched the process. "Their bodies look perfectly preserved." "How is this possible?" "We changed ourselves before we went to sleep," explained Dr. Bae Min-ho. We made our bodies stronger, able to heal faster, able to live much longer. It was the only way to survive long enough for this day. One of the newly awakened humans walked toward them. She was tall and moved with the confidence of someone used to command. Her hair was silver white and her eyes held ancient wisdom. "I am historian Lim Soo-jin," she said, bowing slightly. "I have been asleep for 52,000 years. Please tell me, do the surface humans still remember the old stories?" Dr. Park So-young nodded eagerly. "Yes, we have many old Korean stories about dragons and underwater kingdoms and heroes who fought against evil spirits." Historian Lim Soo-jin smiled. "Good, those were not stories. They were history lessons, passed down through generations to keep the truth alive." She led them to a wall covered with pictures and symbols. The images showed great battles in space, with ships shaped like dragons fighting against strange alien vessels. "These dragons in your myths," she explained, "were our starships. They could breathe fire because of their energy weapons. They could fly through the heavens because they traveled between stars." "And the evil spirits?" asked Lee Taemin. "The alien species that attacked us," said historian Lim Soo-jin. "Your ancestors called them spirits because they seemed to have powers beyond understanding. But they were just using technology they had stolen from us." Another voice spoke from behind them. The surface humans kept more than just stories. They turned to see a man in military uniform walking toward them. His presence filled the room with authority and strength. Everyone, even General Han Bora, stood straighter when they saw him. "I am Admiral Song Kyung-ho," he said. "I commanded the 3rd Deep Fleet before the Great Retreat. I am told that surface humans have built their own military." "Yes, sir," said Lee Taemin, "though nothing compared to what I am seeing here." Admiral Song Kyung-ho nodded approvingly. "That is good. It means the warrior spirit survived on the surface. We will need that spirit for what comes next." Dr. Shin Hyewan approached with a tablet full of data. She was one of the newly awakened scientists, an expert in genetics and human biology. "Commander Lee," she said, "I have been studying your DNA and that of your crew. The genetic compatibility is perfect. Surface humans can operate our technology just as well as we can." "What does that mean?" asked Captain Kim Dong-woo. "It means you can pilot our ships," said Admiral Song Kyung-ho. "You can use our weapons. You are not just our descendants, you are still us. The same people, just separated by time." Historian Lim Soo-jin activated a massive screen that showed a map of the galaxy. Red dots marked thousands of star systems. "These were all human colonies," she said. "Every red dot was a world where humans lived and worked and built families. The aliens took them all. What happened to the people?" asked Dr. Park So-young. Dr. Shin Hee-won's face grew dark. "Some were killed. Others were enslaved. Many were changed. Their genetics altered to make them more useful as workers or soldiers. Their descendants still live on those worlds, but they no longer remember they were once human. The aliens told Earth that humans are a young species," said Lee Tae-min. "They said we barely learned to leave our own planet." Admiral Song Kyung-ho laughed, but it was not a happy sound. "They believe their own lies. They have told that story for so long that they think it is true. But we remember what really happened." Yoon Jae-sung brought up another screen showing technical designs. "Our ships are still hidden throughout the ocean floor. They are powered by quantum cores that can bend space itself. They can travel across the galaxy in hours, not years." "How powerful are they?" asked Captain Kim Dong-woo. "One of our smallest destroyers could defeat the entire Galactic Council fleet," said Admiral Song Kyung-ho. "Our dreadnoughts are the size of small moons and carry weapons that can crack planets. But we are not planet crackers," added historian Lim Soo-jin firmly. "We fight to free people, not to destroy worlds." Dr. Bae Min-ho showed them images of the hidden fleet. Sleek ships rested in vast underwater hangars, their hulls gleaming with the same silver metal as the cities. Some were small and fast. Others were massive beyond imagination. The Galactic Council thinks they are bringing 100,000 ships to destroy Earth, said General Han Bo-ra. They believe that will be enough to wipe out humanity forever. They are very wrong, said Admiral Song Kyung-ho. A communication device chimed. Yoon Jae-sung checked the message and frowned. The Galactic Council fleet has begun moving toward Earth. They will arrive in 15 days, not 30 as they originally said. They are afraid, said historian Lim Soo-jin. Something has made them nervous. Perhaps they detected the awakening energy signatures. Lee Tae-min felt a cold fear in his stomach. Are we ready? Can we wake up enough people and ships in 15 days? Admiral Song Kyung-ho placed a hand on his shoulder. Commander, we have been preparing for this day for 50,000 years. 15 days is more than enough time. What about the surface humans? Asked Dr. Park So-young. Should we warn them about what is coming? We will tell them, said Admiral Song Kyung-ho. But first we need to show them something that will help them understand. He led them to a viewing port that looked out into the deep ocean. With a gesture, he activated lights that illuminated the water outside. Lee Taemin's breath caught in his throat. As far as he could see, stretching into the darkness, were ships. Thousands upon thousands of ships, all waiting in perfect rows. Some were graceful and curved like sea creatures. Others were angular and aggressive like predators. All of them hummed with barely contained power. This is just one of our fleets, said Admiral Song Kyung-ho. We have 47 fleets hidden in oceans around the world. 47 fleets, whispered Captain Kim Dong-woo. How many ships is that? 1,200,000 ships, said Yoon Jae-sung. Each one crewed by people who remember when humans ruled the stars. Dr. Park So-young stared at the impossible sight. The aliens have no idea what they are walking into. No, agreed historian Lim Soo-jin. They think they are coming to destroy a helpless planet. Instead, they are coming home to face their oldest enemy, and this time we are ready for them.